What's up, guys? Welcome back. To be honest, I'm feeling a little depleted, low energy today because we've been doing a bunch of yoga cleansing practices this week. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I'm staying at the Govardhan Ecovillage in Maharashtra, India for their 300-hour yoga teacher training. One of the big parts of the course is going through these detoxifying, purifying practices. That's what this video is going to be about. So let me be clear that I am not condoning or recommending any of these things to the general audience. I think they're all very powerful and useful tools, but they shouldn't be done without supervision and without very specific prep work. So consider this information only. So it's no secret that the world that we live in is not very clean. The air we breathe, the water we drink is filled with pollution. Don't get me started on the food, which is filled with microplastics and fertilizers and pesticides and other hormone disruptors. Our body care products are filled with chemicals that do all sorts of crazy things to our body. And we need ways of ridding ourselves of that toxic buildup. Now, there's going to be people who watch this who say that all detox is a scam. Your liver and your kidneys filter out all the waste. That's all you need. There is a lot of scam in the detox industry, but it's ridiculous to think that your liver and kidneys can keep up with the 24/7 bombardment of pollution that we are subject to in this modern age. You know, we evolved to live in harmony with nature, drinking fresh water, breathing fresh, clean air, eating food straight from the land. We didn't evolve to live the way that we're living now, and our bodies need support to help deal with that. So in the yoga culture, there's these various cleansing practices to help rid ourselves of all of that toxic buildup. It's also important to reduce the intake of the pollution and the toxins, but we do have ways of ridding ourselves of that. And that's what we've been doing over the last week. So a few days ago, we started with vaman. I'm not going to show this one because it's pretty gross, but basically on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning, you drink 2 to 3 liters of salt water straight, like within 5 to 10 minutes, downing it all. And this causes your stomach to expand to full capacity. The salt water flushes and cleans any of the mucus and food particles and other buildup that gets trapped in the layers of our stomach. And then you throw it all up, you purge. Now, it's not a lot of fun to do, but you do feel really clean and light and clear after you do it. It's very good for stress and migraines in particular. You're able to eat right after. I had breakfast within 20 minutes of doing that. So that's the first one that we did. I'm not going to show that one. I'll show some of the next ones. So after that, we did neti, which is like a neti pot. This one's a little more common. In which you pour salt water into one nostril, comes out the other side and flushes your sinuses. We also did sutra neti, which is this surgical tubing that you feed into your nose, pull it out your mouth, and then floss your sinuses open. And then kapalabhati with water, which is basically drinking water in through your mouth and shooting it out your nose, and then drinking water in through your nose and shooting it out your mouth to help flush the sinuses. I'll show you those ones and then we'll come back and talk about the rest.
Oh, wow. No.
Yes, it's all connected. It's okay.
Now I'm drinking water through the nose and remove from the mouth. You have to dip your nose in the water and you suck the water.
Oh my god.
On the dinner table.
No.
Good. Check before always, okay? And check. Both nostrils are open. So you always start with the open nostril. Sometimes you may feel your one nostril is blocked, so you can try with the open, and you have to hold very close like this, not like here and you pushing it may get roll in the nose. So you have to hold very close with 2 fingers like this, and then you have to hold here and you slowly have to push like this. If you take this much distance, it doesn't go, it will run like a turn inside. It can go only to the throat. Don't think it can go to your brain. Okay. And keep the mouth open, bend slightly, breathe with the mouth. And once it's go like a halfway, once you feel in the throat, you have to insert 2 fingers and you have to grab like this. If you try to hold with the thumb and the index finger, it might uncomfortable for you. So just hold like this and slowly you can pull with the mouth. Once it come this way, then you can take it a bit.
Oh, right. It's just like that. He's just working for one side. You feel it later. Yeah. But when it passes through, like, do you feel it?
How easy?
Some of that is going to look really weird to Western eyes. You might be cringing, saying that's crazy, there's no way. But it's important to remember that these are really commonplace things in this part of the world. Right? They clean the inside of their body with as much intention and mindfulness as they clean the outside of their body. So it's just as common as brushing your teeth or taking a shower. Just because it's not a part of our culture doesn't mean that there's not something to it. I mean, people have been doing this for thousands and thousands of years. So all of those really did make a big difference. I have kind of chronic sinus issues from a deviated septum, and the sutra neti in particular really opened things up. That's one that I'm going to continue on a weekly basis. I didn't even know how much I needed that. After the vaman, the jal neti, the sutra neti, and the kapalabhati, we did a full yoga master cleanse. I think it was 2 days ago now, although I lose all track of time in the ashram. But the master cleanse is similar to the vaman in that it flushes your digestive tract. They say that it restores your intestines to that of a newborn baby. So it flushes out all of the mucus, the bacteria, the trapped food particles, anything you've been holding on to in your gut, flushes all of that. Basically what it is, again, I'm not going to show it because it's gross, but you drink 2 glasses of salt water, and then you do 2 sets of this series of asanas, this yoga postures. You drink 2 more glasses, you do 2 more sets of exercise. Drink more water, more exercise. You're filling up your stomach, your intestines to their maximum capacity, and then the poses twist and squeeze your belly. And it's basically like a sponge that the water saturates your organs, your intestines, then the exercises squeeze the sponge and wring it out. And then you spend the next hour and a half on the toilet flushing and releasing all of the stuff that's been built up. It's not pretty, but it is very powerful because we hold so much in our gut, both physically and emotionally. So throughout this process, about half the students in the class were in like weeping tears, processing and releasing a lot of emotion, along with all of the physical release and cleansing. Now, my experience is that it was pretty straightforward. It wasn't really that bad. I mean, it was gross, but it wasn't particularly hard to go through the process. Pretty simple. I didn't feel that bad after. They make you lay down for an hour just to process and integrate. But then you go eat. They encourage you really to eat as much as you possibly can because you've flushed everything from your stomach and your intestines. And if you don't refill that, then they kind of fold in on themselves. You get really bad cramps. So we were sent to the cafeteria where we have to eat this khichdi. It's like rice and mung beans. Very simple. It's like baby food. Because this process restores your intestines to like a newborn baby, you don't really have the same gut bacteria, so you have to eat really simple foods. So this khichdi is the only thing I've been eating for every meal for the past 3 days. They actually want you to eat it for 40 days of just this very simple food, but they know that no one is actually going to abide by that. So they're requiring it for 3 days, but encouraging us to keep our diet very, very simple for 40 days. So 0 alcohol, drugs, caffeine, tobacco, fried food, sugar, meat, all of that has to stay away while your gut rebuilds itself. But this is very, very powerful for any type of intestinal issues, IBS, ulcers, all of the possible gut health issues, food allergies, bloating, gas, all of that gets released, and it's basically like a reset. In fact, you can only do this once every 6 months at most because it's so intense for your body. Now, my experience is that, like I said, it was pretty easy to do, but the recovery has been pretty challenging. I've just felt really, really drained. Yesterday, I spent almost the whole day in bed. I would get up and try to go for a walk just to get out of the room. And like within 10 minutes, I had to sit down and rest because my body was just so tired. So like I said, I would not recommend this for anyone without supervision and guidance. You really need to know what you're doing because these can be dangerous practices if you don't do them correctly, especially if you don't follow the diet after the practice. You can really get yourself in a lot of trouble. So don't try this at home, but I will say that having done all of these practices, I do feel lighter, more open, more relaxed, less tension in my gut. I feel more full in a good way, less inflamed overall. My skin is kind of broken out as I'm releasing some of the stuff that's been held. And my energy is still low, but as that gets better, I feel way better. I feel cleaner, which is kind of the whole point. So it's nice to know that these practices exist in this unclean world. I've already set a reminder in my phone for 6 months from now to do this process again. I will definitely keep up with this. And I'll report back if any new developments happen from these practices. But I will say it's very powerful. Drop a comment if you were grossed out, if you're curious, if you have any reaction to some of these things, or seeing Roshan drink water through his nose and spit it out of his mouth. Let me know your thoughts. Or if you've tried any of these things, let me know that too. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.